Good morning, students. Myself Dhruv Kumar, Assistant Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering, GIMS Engineering Management Technical Campus, Greater Noida. Today I am going to teach you. Mechatronics. Okay, so this is the fifth lecture of the mechatronics, in which we are going to discuss many things that is important for knowing the mechatronics. In which we are talking about the linear and the rotary actuators, and what are the linear actuators, including the cylinder. Okay, so before discussing the cylinders and the types of the cylinder, we must have to know what is actuators. Actually, it is a device which is converting the hydraulic energy into the mechanical energy. Okay, so the pressurized hydraulic fluid delivered by the hydraulic pump is supplied to the actuator, and which convert the energy of the fluid into what? Into mechanical energy, and that mechanical energy is used for the desired work. Okay, I must have to tell you. I must have to tell you in this regard. I must have to tell you in this regard. Okay, what are the types of the actuators? I must tell you. This is what the linear actuator. This is what we call it, the linear actuator. Okay, so we are talking about the linear actuator. So this is what in case of the hydraulic actuator, the linear actuator, rotary actuator. Okay, the actuators which can rotate. Okay, so that is what the hydraulic motor. The working of the hydraulic motor is the rotary actuators. Okay, they are the what? They are the rotary actuators. Okay, so the rotary actuator of two kinds. That is the continuous rotary actuator and the semi continuous actuators. Okay, go to the next. I already told you the hydraulic cylinder. What is hydraulic cylinder? We must have to know what is hydraulic cylinder. Okay, what is hydraulic cylinder? I must tell you, hydraulic cylinder is a device which convert the fluid power. Hydraulic cylinder is a device which convert the fluid power into the mechanical, which convert the fluid power into the mechanical, converts the fluid power into the linear mechanical force and the motion. Okay, it usually consists of movable elements, a piston and a piston rod operating within a cylindrical bore. So we have to go through the various types of the cylinder. So that is the single acting cylinder. Okay, in which single acting cylinder, double acting cylinder, telescopic cylinder, double rod cylinder, tandem cylinder. Okay, so tandem cylinder. So this type of the cylinder so far we have to study. So as per the application of our work, so we are using one by one those cylinders. Okay, we are using one by one those cylinders. So now we come to the single acting cylinder. Okay, so as the name implies, a single acting cylinder is designed to apply the force in only one direction. Okay, so it consists of the piston. It consists of a piston inside a cylinder housing called the barrel. See here, this is the barrel. This is what we call it, the barrel. Okay, so attached to the end of the piston is a rod which extend outside. This is a rod which which can reciprocate to and fro. So this the piston rod goes inside the cylinder, and that can be reciprocating to and fro. Okay, so at the other end, means the blank end, a port for the entrance. Have you seen? This is the port for the input. This is the input port. Okay, this is the input port. Okay, so you will see at the other end a port for the entrance and the exit of the valves. Okay, so the single acting cylinder can exert the force only in extending direction. Only in what direction? Only in this direction. Only in extending direction. Okay, so as the fluid from the pump enter through the blank end of the cylinder, single acting cylinder do not hydraulically retract. Okay, so the retracting is accomplished by using gravity or by inclusion of the compression spring at the rod. Okay, so you will see this is the cylinder. This is the cylinder in which input from the pump. Okay, so the fluid is enter inside. Okay, and this is the spring. Okay, this is the spring. Now once the fluid is inside, goes inside this, they will compress the spring, and it will go up. This will go outward. Okay, so by the symbolic representation, you can say this can be shown for that. So what are the advantage and disadvantage of this single acting cylinder? The single acting cylinder are very simple to operate and compact in size. So the single acting cylinder with a spring return cannot use for the larger stroke length. Of course, they are having the specified stroke length, so it cannot be used for the larger stroke length. So the single acting cylinders are very simple to operate and compact in size. It is very compact in size. So the application is based on this geometry. Application is based on this geometry of this Okay. So now we are talking about the double acting cylinder. You know, double acting cylinder, I already told you, it can operate in the both direction. A double acting cylinder is capable of delivering the force in both directions. So the barrel is made of the seamless steel tubing honed to the affine finish on the inside surface. So the piston, which is made of the ductile iron, contain the U-cup packing to seal, which can make them the seal leakage proof between the piston and the barrel. So the ports are located in the end cap. The ports are located at the end cap, and which are secured by the barrel by the tie rods. Okay. So the load of the piston rod at the neck is taken by the rod bearing, and which is generally made of the brass and the bronze. You know, which is generally made of the brass and the bronze, which is very basically made of brass and the bronze. So the a rod wiper is provided at the end into the neck to prevent the foreign particle. What will be the foreign particle? That may be the dust, dirt from the entering into the cylinder along with the piston rod. So when the fluid from the pump enter the cylinder, when the fluid from the pump from the input enter into the cylinder through the port 1, I will show in the diagram. So the piston moves forward. Piston moves forward, and the fluid return to the reservoir from the cylinder through the port 2. Okay. So during the return stroke, okay, the fluid allowed to enter this cylinder through port 2, and the fluid from the other side of the piston goes back to the reservoir through the port 1. So both will work accordingly. Okay, so see this diagram. Okay, this is the double acting cylinder. This is what the double acting cylinder, in which you will see this is what the double acting cylinder, in which you will see this is the back cap, this is the end cap. Okay, this is what the end cap. Okay, this is what end cap, and this is the totally barrel, and this is what the piston. This is the piston rod. Okay, this is the piston rod, and this is the wiper which make them sealed to the leakage proof between the barrel and the rods, and this is the what the bearing cap. Okay, and this is the retract port. So once okay, so this is the piston seal. You know, the distance between this piston and the cylinder is getting sealed by this piston seal, and this rod which is used to make them join with the plates, that is what the rod seal. Okay, and this is what the end seal. Okay, and there is a wiper rod which can wipe out. Wipe out. Let us suppose from this it is ended, and this is the retract point. So once they will suck the fluid from one side, can retract to the other side and goes to the seal. So accordingly you must know the double acting is working. So cylinder with the end cushioning. So the diagram you will see cylinder with the end cushioning. You must see this diagram. Okay, in which you know, cushioning is provided. This is what the cushion plunger. Okay, and this is the piston rod. Okay, and this is the tube seal which can seal them. okay, and this is the bleed screw, this is the check valve, okay, and this is the fluid port from which it can suck the fluid from the chamber, okay, and this is the piston I already told you, and this is the cushioning valve, this is the cushioning valve. So we must know about the cushioning valves, okay. So here you can double acting cylinder generally contains cylinder cushion at the end of the cylinder. For what? To slow down the movement of the piston near the end of the stroke so that it cannot be damaged. So in the previous diagram you have seen the construction of the active cylinder with the end cushion. So the cushioning arrangement avoid the damage due to the impact occurred when a fast moving piston is stopped by the end cap. Fast moving piston is stopped by the end cap. So in this cap, so in the cap and close the main fluid exit. So this restricts the exhaust flow from the barrel to the port. So this throttling causes the initial speed reductions, okay. So during the last portions of the stroke, the oil has to exhaust through an adjustable opening, right. So since the main fluid exit closes, okay, thus remaining fluid exists through the cushioning valve. Remaining fluid exists through the what? Cushioning valve. Exists through the cushioning valve. This is what? Cushioning valve. Okay. So thus the remaining fluid exists through the cushioning valve. So the amount of cushioning can be adjusted by means of the cushioning screw. You will see this is the cushioning valve and this is what the cushioning screw. This is what the cushioning, it can be adjustable by the cushioning screw. So a check valve is provided to achieve the fast brake. Check valve is produced. This is what the check valve. So this check valve is provided to achieve fast break away from the end position during the retraction movement when it is going to be retract from there. So the bleed screw valve is built into the check valve. This is bleed screw. You know. This is bleed screw valve. And what is the role of bleed screw valve? So a check valve is provided to achieve the fast break away from the end position during the retraction motion. So a bleed screw is built into the check valve to remove the air bubble present. To remove the air bubble present. To remove the air bubble present in the hydraulic type of steam. So this is all about the cylinder with the cushioning. Then we come to the tandem cylinder. Then it is a cylinder. It is a cylinder with single piston. See this diagram. This is a cylinder with the this is a cylinder with the single piston, and the piston rod exists. This is the piston rod. So the piston rods extending from one end. So this cylinder allows work to be performed at either or both sides. Work to be performed either or the both ends. So it may be desirable where operating speed and the return speed are the equal. Where it is desirable where the speed operating speed and the return speed are equal. Then come to the next, tandem cylinder. What is tandem cylinder? The diagram is showing beside this. It is designed of two cylinder mounted in a line. Connected by the common piston rod. Okay, so this cylinder provide increased output force when the bore size of a cylinder is limited, but the length of the cylinder is more than the standard cylinder. Length of the cylinder, this is what length of the cylinder is more than length of the cylinder, but the length of the cylinder is more than a standard cylinder, and also requires a larger flow rate to achieve a speed, because flow must be go to the both piston. Okay, so this is what we are talking about, the tandem cylinder. So diagram is showing all those things about the tandem cylinder. And then come to the telescopic cylinder. Tandem, actually the two cylinders you can say the two cylinders are arranged in a series, so that the force obtained from the cylinders is almost what? Almost double. Almost double. So now come to the telescopic cylinder. So these are used where the long work strokes are needed. I already told you in the previous slides about the single acting cylinders. So they are not be used for the long strokes are needed. Okay, so this telescopic cylinder is used for the long strokes, and this is needed. Long strokes, and this is needed. Okay, so a telescope cylinder provides a relatively long work stroke for an overall reduced length by employing the several pistons with the telescopic into each other. Since the diameter A of the ram is relatively large, or this ram produces a large force from the beginning of the lift of the load. When the ram A reaches the end of the stroke, ram B begins to move. Okay. Now, when the ram B provides the required smaller force to continue raising the loads, when ram B reaches the end of its stroke, then ram C moves outward to complete the lifting operation. So these three ram can be retracted by gravity, acting on the load, or you can say by pressurized fluid keeping on leap of the ram. So see this diagram. Okay, see this diagram. This is all about the telescopic, two-stage double acting telescopic cylinder. So see this diagram. This diagram which all about this is extended port B, and this is the second stage piston. Okay, and this is the cylinder arrangement. Retract point A, यहाँ से retract point A. Okay, and what are the preparation to make them out? Preparation for make them out. First stage piston is, you will see this is the first stage piston. Okay, and retraction. This is the reciprocations inside the hole or inside the cylinder, and this is the extension when it comes out. So and here it is the second stage annulus. Okay, and these are the seal. So first, this is the first stage piston. This is the first stage annulus. Okay, and this is the graphs. So these are the different cylinders, I must tell you, and these are the graphical symbol of the cylinders what we are using so far. So in first you will see the single acting. First you will see the single acting cylinders, and this is used for return stroke by the external forces and the return stroke through a spring. Two kinds of return stroke by the external force in that case, and the return stroke through a spring. Okay, that I already have shown you. Then we come to the double acting cylinder, in which you will see one is the single rod cylinder, one is the double rod cylinder. Okay, but then we come to the cylinder with the fixed stroke and fixed strokes and end cushioning. Okay, so in this the cushioning on the one side is this, and cushioning on the two side is this. Okay, so then we come to the cylinder with the adjustable stroke and the cushioning. So then we come to the cushioning on one side. This may be the diagram, and cushioning on the both side. This may be the diagram. Okay, so and the last one we are talking about the this is what the single acting telescopic cylinder, and this is what the double acting telescopic cylinder. Okay, so with these slides, today I am going to discontinue my lectures. So we will meet again in the 6th lecture of mechatronics tomorrow, and make familiar yourself for different topics. Okay, so this is what